In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the cutting and sewing process of these joggers. I use a cutting method that you can use in sewing and cutting joggers for either a boy or a girl. So quickly, let's get straight into the video. These are the measurements you need and how to measure them. This is for your thigh measurement and should be measured like so. The full length, the hip length is different from your hip circumference. You need your hip length and your hip circumference measurement. You also need your waist circumference, and this is how to measure for your crunch depth for your joggers. I got 2 yards of holding material. It actually came two-faced, but I'm going to be using this part of it as the right side of the joggers. It is by 60 in length. I'm going to be using the by 60 part as the length of the joggers. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead to measure my thigh measurement straight up. I will not be adding anything, and I'm going to cut it out. So what I have here is a cutout of exactly my thigh measurement. Okay, so I'll go ahead to place this on fold. Because I'll be using a waistband of 2 inches, I'll place my tape 2 inches upward, and I'm going to mark out my hip length, my crunch depth, and the full length. After marking the full length, I'm going to be adding an extra of 3 inches for hemming at the down part. I'll just go ahead to extend my lines. So I'll go ahead to cut it out on the full length mark. So now on this top part, you are going to come in here by 1 inch. Connect this to the hip line like so, and you also go to the full length and you go in as well by 1 inch, and you're going to be connecting that 1 inch mark from the full length to the hip line as well. This 1 inch mark is to give the side joggers shape, so I'm going to go ahead to cut these markings out. Blend this part very well. This is not a hip curve, please. Like I said, this is a unisex joggers cutting, so make sure you blend this part very well so that it is not giving the hip curve look, so that any gender can wear it as well. On the top part here, you measure your hip measurement divided by 4. Do not add any sewing allowance. All the necessary sewing allowance will be added to the back. So you just measure your hip measurement divided by 4 on the waist level, and you are going to be measuring the same thing on the crunch line here, and you connect these 2 points together with a straight line. On the crunch line, you are expected to fix your thigh measurement, and remember what I placed on fold was my thigh measurement, so I have exactly my thigh measurement here. Like I said, do not add any sewing allowance to the front. Every sewing allowance and extra fullness will be added on the back. So from this point, you just use your hands to make a curve like so. Next, I'll go over to the full length, and on the full length, I'm going to be marking 8 inches. This 8 inches will work well for any grown person. I will adjust my pattern well, and I'm going to be connecting from the crunch level to the full length mark like this. So next thing to do, I'll just go ahead to cut this out like so. So this will be for the front part. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get the back piece. I'll just keep this one side here, and I'll get the back piece. I'll just fold what I have here by 2, fold it like so, and I'm going to place the front piece on it. From the tip here, measure 2 inches like so. I'm going to measure 2 inches from this point. This 2 inches is serving as a sewing allowance and as an extra to make your joggers big. Then from the top part, you should also make sure that the waist is seated 2 inches away from the top part as well. Okay, so the next thing you are going to do, you are going to extend this your crunch line to this 2 inches mark like so, and you are going to extend this waist part to this 2 inches at the top as well. Okay, then from this point, you are going to be connecting this with a slanted line to the corner like this. Now coming to the crunch part, you are going to come out by 2 inches on the hip line as well. You come out by 2 inches on the hip line, and you are going to be connecting this with a curve like this. You are taking it to this line up here, so you just connect this to this line like this. So next, on the side of the joggers, you are going to be adding 2 inches all the way to the full length, which will be serving as an extra to make the joggers big and as sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead to mark the 2 inches all to the down part, and I'm going to connect it. I'm so sorry my chalk is not showing really well, but please just follow what I say and you'll get it right. So I'll connect the mark out point to the new crunch depth of the back part like this. So that is it. So I'm going to go ahead to cut this out like so. For the side, you're going to be cutting exactly what you have here. Like I said, this should not have a hip shape, oh, so that it can work for both gender. Cut the same thing for the full length. And on this point, I'll slant it like so to the top part. Cut the crunch for the back. And I'll cut out the side following the 2 inches mark that I marked. So this is all for the front and the back. For the waistband, I'm going to be using an elastic that is 2 inches wide. For the waistband, I went ahead to cut a fabric that is 6 inches wide, but the width of the fabric should be up to your hip measurement plus 1 inch so that it can easily pass through your hip measurement when you are wearing the joggers. For the inner pocket, I'm going to be using a length of 11 inches and a width of 8 inches, and I'm going to be cutting out 4 pieces of this pocket. So next, I'm going to take the down part. This is the front pieces. I'm going to place the front pieces together, right side facing right side, and I'm going to be joining the crotch area. And I'm going to do the same thing for the back part. I have gone ahead to join the front center the same way I have joined the back center. So the next thing to do is to put the pocket. You take a single piece of the pocket and you place it on the right side. The right side of the pocket should be facing the right side of the front part. So you're going to ensure that this is seated straight on the waist and that it is seated very straight on the side, not minding the side shape. So to make it very easy for you, you can use a single pin to hold it down. So if I flip this to the other side, this is how your pocket should sit, okay? It's not expected to follow the side shaping. Just make sure it sits exceeding the side shaping like so. From the top part, I'm going to measure 5 inches. I'm going to be sewing from the top part following the side shaping, and I'll stop at the 5-inch mark. So here I am done sewing this. Now I'm going to be trimming only the excess of the pocket side and not the jogger. So when you are done, you're going to clip this directly where your stitch stop. Do not cut more than where your stitch stop, okay? So you give it a clip like so. Next, you're going to open it up, push the side seam to the pocket, and you are going to top stitch it. The top stitching should be done on the pocket and not on the right side of the joggers. So as you can see, the stitch is not on the top of the joggers. Next, I'm going to pin the pocket to the joggers on the top part. Then I'm going to arrange it very well. You notice some excess at the side of the joggers. Now your clip should look like this on the right side. I'll be showing you the essence. So you go ahead to trim the excess of the pocket, and I'll just go ahead to pin it down there. So next, I'll take the other pocket, place it right side facing right side. I'll make sure it is seated very equally, and I'm going to be giving it a pocket curve at the down part of the pocket like so, and I'm going to go ahead to sew the pocket together. So yeah, I'm done top stitching the pocket. Now if you flip this to the right side, you are going to notice some excess at the side here. This is to pay up for the seam allowance we use in turning the pocket area, so do not worry about that. It's supposed to look like that. So next, I'll top stitch the pocket on the top part and on the side of the jogger. So when you are top stitching, you just follow it up on this your clip point. So here we are done with the pocket, and I'm going to go ahead to repeat the same process for the second part of the pocket. Now take the back part, place it right side facing right side. I'm going to go ahead to join this, and when you join this, make sure that you cover this clip edge all the way to the down, okay? So yeah, I'm not sewing. As you can see, my stitch covered that clip point. So this is what it looks like on the right side. All right, so make sure your stitch covers it. So I'll go ahead to join the down part together, and to avoid any shortage, make sure you sew from one end to the other, and make sure you pin it up to avoid shortages. So here I am done joining the center. So the next thing you are going to do, you are going to flip this to the right side, and on the front part you are going to go to your ironing table and you iron this, making sure that the both seam meet like this, okay? You make sure that the both seam meet like so, and it's going to give you the center line that you'll be using to make your tiny stitch at the front. All right, so when you iron this, you make sure that the two seams sit, and that will give you the line that you need to make the tiny seam at the front. All you have to do is to make sure you give it a very straight stitch all the way to the top part, and when you get to the top part, you would need to loosen that stitch at the top, okay? So here I am done making my tiny stitch from the down part all the way to the up, and on the top I loosen it a bit so as to make the stitch. It's a tiny stitch, so it did not affect anything, so I'll go ahead to re-top stitch it at the top. the elastic is equal to my exact waist measurement. So I'm going to go ahead to get the waistband for the waist. I'll place it right side facing right side, and I'm going to close the both sides like this. This joint side will be serving as the side of the joggers. You go ahead to place this on two fold, and you notch the other side of the band like so. Next, you go ahead to still place this on fold so that you can notch the center of the band. On the center notch, I'll go up 2 inches from the open part, 2 inches. I'll be fixing my eyelet on just a single part of the band. So I'll place it on fold. I'm going to be marking 2 inches, which is the width of my elastic. I'll mark these 2 inches all around, and I'm going to top stitch it. So while I was top stitching, I left 2 inches open, which will be the part where I will be passing my elastic through. So I'll go ahead to trim the seam allowance to be left with 0.5 inch. Take my elastic and I'm going to tie it on a screwdriver. You can use whatever you like as a medium of passing the elastic. Just make sure that the elastic is not twisted in the band. So I'm going to go ahead to pass this through or to the other end of the opening. So here, after it is at the other end, I will just pull it out and I'm going to place the two ends together, and I'm going to top stitch this like so. Okay, so I'll just pull it in and I'm going to close that opened part. So after you have closed it, you use your hands to stretch it out like this to make sure that the fullness is shared evenly. Now I'm going to be using the width of the eyelet as a guideline to make a stitch all around. Okay, so let's go to the sewing. So from underneath the eyelet point like so, you are going to start sewing, and you make sure that you stretch the fullness as you sew. Okay, you are stretching this from the front and the back. You sew to the next point, you stretch, make sure you stretch so that the fullness will go in with the elastic. Okay, so I'll go ahead to stretch this and sew all the way to the other end of the elastic, sorry, of the eyelet. So this is it for one line. So we are going to be making the other line because this is actually serving as a casing for the waist robe. Starting from the top of the eyelet like this, I'm going to repeat the same process of stretching and sewing all the way to the other end. So this is it for the waistband. I'm going to take the joggers and I'm going to be pinning this accordingly to the notches that we have made. I'll pin the center to the center, and please, you have to ensure that you pin the side seam to the side of the jogger so that the seam at the waistband and the side of the joggers would align. To sew this, you need to stretch the elastic to fit into the pin area, and you are sewing with a 0.5 inch allowance on the down part of the band. So here I am done with the waistband. For the down part, you are going to go ahead to hem it. You can decide to give it a double stitch to make it look more like a ready to wear, or you can decide to fix an elastic for the elastic foot type of joggers. Okay, if you want to put elastic on the down part, all you have to do is to fold it up, leave a little part open, pass your elastic, top stitch it before you close the open part you use in passing the elastic. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to see you in my next streetwear tutorial. Bye.